Hey college football fans, it's episode 43 of Walk It Off with Chappy, and per request from @CFB_dugout on Twitter, they want to know, Big 12 theme, what's the desirability or what's the leverage that Oklahoma State has in terms of joining a conference like the SEC or the ACC? They even mentioned the Pac-12. Well, ask and you shall receive. So first of all, I think the Pac-12 is going to be out of it because we're starting to see that they're losing a majority of their schools to the Big 12. So first and foremost, I think the Big 12 is going to put on a full court press to keep Oklahoma State. But we could also see the SEC and the ACC, not in that order, make a push for the Pokes as well. And here's why. Here's their desirability. First of all, you look from a football standpoint, Oklahoma State is one of only 3 schools who in the last 16 years have had winning seasons and bowl games. Yes, even ahead of mighty Alabama. Only Oklahoma and Wisconsin have had longer streaks of doing that. They're very consistent in football. Mike Gundy has that program in the top of the Big 12 pretty much every year. And even though they've been owned by the OU Sooners, they still hold their own and they make a good push within the conference. That brings me to my next point, the Bedlam rivalry. The state of Oklahoma, and yes, even the Oklahoma Sooners, are better off and would benefit from having Oklahoma State join them in the SEC. Now, the SEC kind of passed them over a year ago, and athletic director Chad Weiberg and head coach Mike Gundy of the football program have stated their positions that they're not worried about it. They are confident at where OSU is and what they can offer, what they can bring. So that tells me that they don't think that it's done with in terms of the SEC going after them. And I think, again, relevant to a video that I made recently, I think that it would be wise for the SEC to bring over Oklahoma State because they're going to want to expand anyway. And I know that they're allegedly and rumored to be in negotiations with programs like Miami, Clemson, North Carolina, and I think Virginia. But why not bring the second half, or the other half I should say, because I don't want to rank them, the other half of the state of Oklahoma into their conference? Since they already have the Sooners, why not bring the Pokes in there because of all these attractions? You know, you've got the money, you've got Boone Pickens. Oklahoma State was in the top 20 in terms of athletic revenues on the plus side. So I think I saw that they spent annually about $54 million and or made $54 million and ended up only needing to spend about $24 million in terms of football budget. So they find a way to get on the plus side. So that's always good. You look at their other sports, baseball, which is becoming more and more prevalent, and we know that the SEC is a baseball conference collegiately. Oklahoma State is a traditional baseball power. They just built a brand new, beautiful venue. They had some success in the tournament this year. No, they didn't make it to Omaha, but that's desirable for them. They have some pretty good TV markets. So combined, the Oklahoma City market and the Tulsa market would put them in a top 20 range or within the top 25 TV markets collectively. And we know that it's about money and we know it's about viewership, so you're going to be getting some eyeballs on you there. But the Oklahoma State fan base is also very passionate. The Oklahoma State fan base, they're going to travel, and that's what it amounts to as well. Are you going to be having schools and programs that are going to bring their followings with them? Oklahoma State, I think I saw, had a top 25 ranking in terms of social media following. So it's not just the eyeballs on the TV and the booties in the seats, but it's also the fingers on the keyboards and on the mouses and on the pulse of social media. They're bringing all of that. So where do I think they'll land? Well, I suggested that the SEC would probably be the best fit. But again, I think Brett Yormark needs to make a big splash. And he's looking like he's on his way there with the addition of, or the potential addition of, these new former Pac-12 schools, Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado. It sounds like that's getting to be close to being a done deal. I think that they'll also bring in Oregon and Washington from the Pac-12. So if he wants the Big 12 to stay relevant and to remain one of those power conferences, he should keep Oklahoma State there by all means necessary. But if Oklahoma State is in a position to pick and choose, I think for them the better place to be might be the SEC if they're looking for money. But if they want to continue to establish their strong brand, and they can still play Oklahoma in a Bedlam series in a non-conference format in football, in baseball, and all others, what have you, they would be just fine staying in the Big 12. I don't know that the ACC is a good fit for the Pokes, for them, it benefits the ACC, but I think that would be one of those desperate grabbing at straw moves for the ACC. And Oklahoma State is not in a position of desperation, in my opinion. So that's how I see that. I appreciate the question, CFB Dugout. Please continue to check me out and follow along with Walk It Off with Chappy. That's who I am, and this is what I know.